Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rally Cry halftime show. As we waste a little bit of time before we hop into our next match between DSG and AOE. So, I know that you two use Twitter a lot, and Cubby, you've definitely had a couple of posts that have gone viral. So I thought for today's segment...
Which one was that, Cubby?
For right or wrong reasons, you know.
Which one are we highlighting for this one?
You know, I'd prefer to talk about the Zeus
JoJo
tweet at
Inspired?
Worlds. They aren't together anymore, you know. I'm not together with them now. It is what it is. Moving on.
Hey,
Top 5.
It's over. All right.
They almost beat Kanavi once. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, well, we're gonna continue on, but regardless,
It was a hot take.
You got some impressions off of that, and I know not all of our players quite use Twitter, so I thought for today we could write a couple of tweets on their behalf, maybe try and help out the socials game. We'll see. I don't know if they necessarily want to go with these tweets. We'll see how these air out. So we all understand. We're all good. Flex those creative juices.
Good to go.
Good to go. All right. The first one, I thought I would make it easy and let you guys, start to flex the creative juices to start things off.
Okay.
This one on behalf of Zazel. And I thought this one might be a bit more for Mazel, considering
okay.
it's the birds, but I thought this would be a nice little warm up for you two to figure out the game.
What do you think, Mazel?
It's gotta be something about like cute nature before blood is spattered or something along those. It's gotta be like, this is the calm before the storm. Something along those lines. That's what I'm feeling. So
This was the most interesting thing on the Rift today.
Not the static shiv build from Young.
Yeah. Is that what we want to go with?
I'm waiting for that one.
Me and Meech. Me plus Meech. See a Breezy. I don't know. Something like that. Something mean towards Breezy. Maybe it's like...
Which one are we going with? I'm kind of like both options.
Oh. Zazel's on the left because he's a real bird. Breezy's on the right because he's a duck and not a real bird.
How am I supposed to put that into a tweet?
I don't know. You put a bunch of spaces. You put Zazel on one side, a bunch of spaces, and then Breezy. I don't know.
Fun fact on my stream, that duck on the right is known as Sir Mr. Creakleton.
Well, I prefer real birds.
So apparently I can't do a dots. So we're gonna
Sag.
you know what? I'm trying my best over here.
Zazel is best. There you go. That's the tweet.
That's the tweet. All right. Well, let's see how this one goes along. See if I did this right. I did do dots.
Look at that.
I couldn't do spaces. But
Look at that.
How are we feeling for that for our first tweet? We understand. We're all good here.
I'm up on the mountain. You're down in the dumps in the water. That's what he's saying.
I think there's a reason that this has 0 retweets, 0 likes, 0 views, and 0 replies.
They're all gonna have 0. Okay, Cubby, don't even.
Not true. I'm gonna request that Sierra change your mind. All right. Now here we go.
All right. The next one, no image. It's Breezy adding Meech.
That's all you need.
You're not gonna know.
If only he had one game one. Then he just. What do you got, Cubby? What are you thinking?
Yeah, the first prompt to like get
here we go.
did not work.
Here we go. Why do you force me to play Yuumi? You're scared.
Forced him.
I mean, they picked Zeri. That they had to take the Yuumi away. It was yeah.
Why you do me like this, Meech?
You're scared. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. I feel like Breezy wouldn't say anything more aggressive than that. I feel like that's a very Breezy statement.
How many likes and stuff do you need for this to actually be efficient? Since you said you're gonna be changing the likes and stuff, since that's a qualification now too.
I picked a couple for him. I just threw in some numbers.
That's not fair. I had zeros. Now I feel bad. All right.
Let's go. We don't talk about the retweet to like ratio.
That's
but
34 retweets. Holy cow. That's incredible.
People are just really relating to the Yuumi aspect of it, Yes. But
I've got one good one I think stored up later, but we're gonna see if that comes out. Who else do we have?
There was one comment on there because of course. Gonna give Meech a chance to respond over here.
That was the comment. That was just Meech wanting to get back at him.
Yep.
Better bot lane wins.
No, it's
Is this the one that you had to clap back?
Miss your passenger princess butt, and then you gotta fill out the butt.
Zazel's my princess. No, that doesn't work.
No.
No, this is why your first one got 0 likes, 0 retweets.
Hey, that's just because the system was broken, okay? Twitter was down.
But fear the
Not
beard.
my fault.
Who knows?
I like beards.
These are tough.
Instead.
There's a reason
Breezy
that we
has never had a beard.
There's a reason we don't have a lot of Twitter followers. That's oh
right.
Boy.
We'll do that one so I can try and get through these prompts. I know I said at the beginning that maybe, hey, these are tweets that the players could take inspiration from. I am not 100% sure on that as we're going through that now. You know, I feel like they're a little bit hey, you know? You can't always have hit tweets here, Cubby, okay?
This is like hold on. This is like when like F Jerry, they like put him on the spot to like figure out like memes like in real time, and then like everyone in the room sucked at it. The pressure's on, I must say.
Pressure's on.
I got a preview of that next one. It's an easy one, right?
Easy one?
It's just the fact that static shift is balanced.
No. I got this. I got this. You ready? You ready?
All right.
Cue up the tweet. Electrocuted a kid and their teddy bear on the Rift today. Get shivved, kid.
You know, I don't think that sounds like Young, but sure.
Yeah. Live evil, man. Come on.
Live evil. Not even evil.
Wait, what was the last part?
Get shivved, kid. Yeah.
I feel like a much more Young tweet would be static shift is balanced, but you know, we'll go with the grandiose moment.
Yeah.
I feel like I said something wrong in here, but like, you know.
It happened.
Risk it for the biscuit, Sierra.
It happened on the Rift, all right? It's on the Rift.
It's on the Rift. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
You're out of there, Cubby. Rafa says no.
I hate. I'm gonna start my own Wi-Fi network so that Rafa can't wreck my streams.
All right, there you are. Are you happy with your tweet there, Cubby? You can use some electricity.
I'm happy with my work. I feel like it's good work.
Okay.
You're happy with your work? All right. I'm glad. We got to see a lot of strong things coming out from DSG as we're going to be keeping right along that with this moment, which, I mean, you're talking about, thank God he just wasn't dying in this.
Trying to think of a fake God-centered tweet. What would he say?
I mean, I feel like this fight was the ace. Mizell, you had a lot of words to say about it. This was the ace. This was
trying to think of something to tie in
just not dying.
What's Cassante's W called? Oh my God, I'm blanking. Trying to think of something to make it wordy and funny for Cassante, but you know, I don't know.
You're the type of person that has to spend like 20 minutes on a tweet, right?
You just put MC Hammer, so you can't touch this. There you go.
I really wish that I had the capability to pull up a hammer emote and throw it on there, but fortunately, I do not think in this segment we have time for me to go fiddle around and try and find more images off the internet. So we'll do the simple. We'll do the good. Just can't touch this.
Look at this. See, that's a tweet. That's a tweet right there.
That is
a tweet. That could potentially go. Nah, not really. But it works. It works.
Wow. All right. Well,
he just did not die for some reason.
That is true.
Still don't understand why. Questions are out.
All right. Your last chance to redeem yourself on here. Looking into our next series, we're going to have a little, tweeting on the orgs. I don't know if either of you guys want to go into social media. I don't think I recommend it after this segment.
Hand behind your back is the tweet I would send towards the skies.
No, I'd say they're scarier than they look because AOE is about to get O2'd. So the org might actually want to use that. I feel like we'd be a lot better tweeting at orgs than ourselves, considering orgs are usually way worse at Twitter. So maybe we do want to go into this because we're actually bad at it.
And you're saying too that AoE is about to get 2-0. No, this is supposed to be, you know, the moment of rallying the troops, getting everyone behind you as you're going off to war in this second one. What are you doing, Cubby?
We're gonna burn your toast.
Well, no. There you go. If AoE were to do that, then you take this photo and then you just like draw a bunch of like edits over it. Like, look at how goofy these guys look. Who are like,
I just turn it upside down.
And after we're done with them, yeah,
just flip it upside down, reverse it.
I think the big thing is like AoE just needs to make a big Discord where they can just like siphon fan art away, because that's what Disguise is doing for their stuff, and it's pretty sweet. I got it.
It is some pretty good art that they do. It do be some pretty good art that they do. So I'm not gonna lie on that one, but I do think that you could have I think you do have a hit tweet on this one. So
let's go.
It's a good one.
Hey,
I made sure to do a lot of likes on that.
Area of effect.
There needs to be fire added. Maybe like it's tough to do Photoshop on the fly for this, but that's the way it would have to work. Or maybe just pick Rumble. You know,
I do not have those skills. I apologize. Plus, you know, Mazel is the graphic designer of the group here.
God,
I don't know if you remember the ones from earlier on, but I don't think I could compete with that. But I think
can do laser beams.
You can do laser beams. Maybe some laser beams coming out from AoE in this next match. As it's time for game 2. See how the second one is going to be shaking up, going up against this guys. With drafts ready, I'll see you later.
All right, we'll go ahead and kick it off for our final game here. AoE on the blue side, DSG on the red side. We have that LeBlanc first and foremost taken off the table, rightfully so.
We didn't get to show the end of the game graph, but Young had double the amount of money that Darklings did in that game. That's he actually did electrocute.
The damage and stuff too, like that was actually
he kind of shivved everyone.
We actually got a little bit of a preview here.
Yeah, that's
we can see some of it ourselves.
Pretty aggressive there.
Yeah, I want to see though, especially the way that AoE approached game number 1. I wouldn't mind to see that continue, right? Get something aggressive for Will and find lanes that can, on paper, work around it. Just need to find that execution for it, as we do get some of those meta bans from DSG on the red side this time. They have that Nico and the Emilio ban. We actually get the Jax Rakan ban over from AoE.
Do we see Yuumi taken away here? And what happens with Yuumi? We've also seen some teams ban Zeri here. Okay, it's actually gonna be a Kindred ban.
This is nice. I will.
They're gonna buy. AoE will buy. If Vi's up, AoE will take it.
It's a definite comfort for Will, but maybe it's something that DSG were kind of hoping for. Try to find something that can fight that Vi, but that single target setup, now I need AoE to build around that.
I mean, you get Zeri Yuumi here if you want it as Disguised, and honestly, I can't blame them. They do have the Vi, but it's still Zeri Yuumi. And with the new build, we are still on 13-11. They get a lot tankier. It's a lot harder to remove them from the map. And it looks like Disguise will be taking that.
And if they do take this, I expect the likes of maybe a Syndra come out, the Aries, things like this to try to combo with the Vi to lock this duo down.
They could have went Ahri there if they wanted to deny that from AoE. But I am expecting AoE to now pick up Aphelios themselves. And then they want a Nautilus or Vi here, or Ahri here. They could. I think those are a couple of the options. Lulu's another. I don't like Lulu as much, though. I feel like already you're saying, hey, we don't win later in the game. Like, unless Aphelios gets 6 items, then that gets pretty crazy, but they don't win late. So it's about all in early. And now for Disguise, this is still where I think you just match jungle. Take something that you can take into the Vi. You can eat some mid bans, you can eat some solo lane bans. And now I want to see AoE take away the Cassante. I would not give that to Fake God again. And also, maybe a couple melee pairings that you're a little bit worried about with the Sejuani. I feel like you have to ban Renekton as well from Fake God, given that Sejuani is showing, and given how good Fake God's been on Renekton this year.
Yeah, we saw a lot of top lane bans come out in the second phase in game number 1 from AoEs. We actually get the Annie ban towards Darkwings. So that Vi combo disheartened a little bit.
Let's see. I think anything else that's like early game that Disguise is like scared of just getting broken. I think that's going to be the move. As let's see, AoE. I still really want to see like Renekton and Cassante. I guess if you leave both up, Concepts. I don't think he's going to be playing Cassante into the Renekton. He'll have something else. As Garen Band actually tells me that Disguise want Cassante.
Okay. And it's also something just a respect band towards Concept to had some insane performances on that Garen in his past, but also recently where he was backdooring the enemy team. So I'd love to see some of those respects given over, but it was that Akali ban towards Young. A plethora of those kind of melee mids going for him, but it will be that Renekton banned away finally by AOE, not wanting to give that over to Fake God.
Ahri could be a good takeaway here. Just the follow-up with a Vi Nautilus. I think taking that now is appropriate. But now...
Syndra's still up, though.
Darkwings has the option to go for that. Also, we've seen some Azir creeping back into the meta. And Darkwings has been quite a good Azir player in the past, so that could be an option. And then Blind for Concept in the top side. Honestly, I think something like Scion or Ornn could be okay. If you are scared that a Cassante is going to come through, you could try and take Gragas to deter that.
Dude, there's some flexibility there. They will just go ahead and get the Gragas. So they have the Gragas at top side, but the Azir back again for Darkwings and trying to find something of strength for himself on this pick and something that he, Darkwings, is very comfortable on. The
Aatrox,
final pick should come through.
Yes.
Aatrox is open. We've heard Fake God talk about this before.
Yeah, I know that you traded DMs with Fake God before the split started. He said that Aatrox is his favorite champ. This is a pick that we've seen actually emerging into Gragas, and I think is really good this game. I mean, you have 3 people that want to go in. Azir as well, if he does decide the Shurima Shuffle, Aatrox is very threatening for that. And it's Fake God, one of his best champions that he has played. And for Fake God, who has been so dominant this split, I'm really excited to see him take this to the Rift, because he needs to be the point of strength on the map to get the Zeri Yuumi online a little bit later.
I do want to go back into that conversation about AoE side, though. They opt into maybe a little bit more stable of a composition than they had in game number 1, but it's also still that centered aggression around Will getting proactive on the map, and that will be even more so important when you saw the way that DSG are willing to kind of take this trio into their top side and maybe even skirmish you back for it.
But with the Vi, I feel like Will has so much more ability to actually make plays early.
Yeah.
And again, Will, he's been good this split. Like, the return of Will has been great to see in summer. He is someone that we've always had high hopes for as a younger North American player that is talented. And Will, good to see him back in the league and on a team where he's been able to make some plays early. But he sacrificed a lot to get this Vi first pick. I mean, giving up Zeri Yuumi is something that a lot of teams would not choose to do to get Vi. So we'll see if Will can make this pay off.
And especially against Zeyzal, who now paired up with Meech have just looked so good together. And I do want to return to that story time of the bot lane duo, the lovers crossed here. Meech versus his old support and Breezy sitting there across happily smiling with his new support Zeyzal. And it is about what Breezy and Zeyzal bring to the team for either side, because you have a lot of out of lane presence from both these guys, and that'll be super crucial in game number 2, especially for Breezy on this Nautilus as we finally hit the Rift.
Keep in mind that if you guys want some cool emotes and want to support the players, you guys can subscribe to the channel. 50% of the proceeds go directly to the teams and players from your subs, so love to have... I mean, we've been really privileged to have a lot of support over the past couple weeks, and know it means a lot for the teams, so been fun to see so far. Hopefully we get to continue that, but at the moment we have our last game of the day on twitch.tv/pathlcs as this guy's looking for another 2-0 this week.
Trying to capitalize. They said yesterday. Yesterday they went 1-1. They had the 2-0 at the end of the week last week. It was kind of like a build-up. They were like, we're going to get a 2-0. We're going to get a 2-0. They finally got it. Then this week they start off, they say, we're coming back better tomorrow. We want a 2-0. And it's so funny to hear them talk about that. There is absolute confidence in this roster to be one of our top teams in NACL, but they want to be perfect to some extent, right? They want to be taking 2-0s every which way.
Looks like Tomio is going to be pathing away from the Aatrox Will as well, so focus on the bot side early. As Darkwings, with Ahri being so prevalent in the meta, a lot of our pros have returned to this Azir, which has been able to force Ahri out in the past. But of course, the last time we saw Azir be very prevalent, it was before the changes where they kind of put Azir back to his earlier League of Legends status. With Azir now, a lot of his power being in his W, which you have to max first for the Q.
And this is a callback for Darkwings, right? This is something that he played a lot back in the day, even back when he was with Dignitas. It was something they hovered around. It was obviously a little bit more meta back then. But as you were kind of saying, it's been rising in prominence. I'm glad to see Darkwings wanting to pick this back up. And this will be the first iteration of the split that we get this from him. And this is a guy who's been trying to make his way back, right? And I think with AOE, he's found a bit of a home, trying to make a difference for them in that connection with Will.
It's going to have to be good this game, as again, Will needs to snowball this game forward if AOE want to have a chance. As at the moment, it is going to be top to bottom clears with the Sejuani skipping over Wolves to be a little bit ahead. As we'll see if Will does the same. Try and match, as Tomio does have the option to get up in the face of Vi. If he gets the jump, it can be quite good.
See if some of that aggressive pathing will lead to any dividends. They want to try to fight over this red buff. We'll have the red buff as his own. Go ahead and contest into Will, and that's why you pick this Sejuani pick, because Tomio can have a lot of decisions to make early on.
Will forced off. Very nice from Tomio, and Young is here to support. Now, the bot lane did not have priority, but this does mean that Zerayumi get a little bit of reprieve, as the Nautilus and the Aphelios have to back on off to make sure Will gets his camps, and Tomio was able to be a little bit of a distraction early.
It's so kind of cool that we get this first off supportal matchup that we have in here, but now for game number 2 we have a different style coming into it. We have the Enchanter yet again opted in for Zeyzal, where he himself has some really good mechanical plays, even on a champion that doesn't feel like you can have mechanical plays on. And Breezy, he has the priority here. He is the Nautilus. Either get those engages bot lane or get out, roam the map, and connect with the rest of the team.
I think that's going to be the key. Like, when you are going to take Vi Nautilus, that Rift Herald fight becomes so important. Because like that has to go your way, and you have to start stacking up points if you want to actually get ahead in these games. So my eyes really going to be onto that. As so far, this guy's did a really wonderful job of tracking Will early. You can see that ward from Young just freshly placed. As Tomia knows that bot crab is theirs. They're going to see Will basing, though he will not take that Gromp camp. And actually, Tomio will stick around to take a couple of his respawn camps. So Tomio looking for that Bombies first on the clear, which has been rather good for him. Not quite as powerful as last game, but it doesn't get much better than that. So Tomio's still going to be happy if he gets to walk back with that as his first item.
So just shout out, since we're not going to be looking up there very often until later probably. I think that's the DRX Prestige Edition for the Aatrox for Fake God. Shout outs to him, the coolest skin in the game right now.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm a big fan. I instantly bought it. That and the Kindred skin. Tomio was actually focusing up there, so maybe we get to see the skin a little bit here. But I do actually think Concept gets out of here, but they have a lot of CC. Okay, missing that Q sweet spot. The flash just come out.
Still lead for the Aatrox, where once he hits 6, there are a lot of ways that Aatrox can play around the cast to try and A, dodge out of it, but B, get it so that the Gragas knocks you in instead of away. So Concept will have to be very careful with where he places that, because again, Aatrox loves to be in the mix of everything.
Trying to look right now on my screen to see if that is actually the Aatrox with the Chroma, but it's hard to find the Chroma skin. As now, getting back into this one, it is a bit of a more promising early start. We're not seeing Will, get a bit gapped in the CS department of his jungle, get forced out too much. We saw the early move from Tomio, which I think was really good, but now the decisions and kind of priority has been given over to AOE for the next few moments.
And you can see Will with the Vi able to get onto this Dragon early. Vi shreds Dragon with that W. Gonna have the help from the team. This was gonna fall in draft from this, guys. They aren't worried about this. I think they want to wait till 3rd Dragon to fight, and if they can get a better map setup around Herald, maybe they can sneak that, given the priority they will have with Fake God on the top side.
That's going to be so huge for them to play around as well. And just really appreciate kind of this movement early, this small advantage being built up in the long term for AOE, because that's something that they didn't really find in game number 1. But it was something we highlighted, right? If you could at least scale back a little bit of this timer for DSG, it becomes huge for you. But I do think both teams are really proficient when it comes to team fights coming into this one.
Just have to see who's better at executing. As
going off game 1, it was DSG.
Yeah, it was. But hey, it's a new game, so I like to give our teams a chance.
Sunny day here on the Rift.
It is. We embrace the positives. as it will be the first back for Fake Out. I'm curious if it's going to be... Okay, it's not. There's a build going around with Aatrox lately where it's Even Shroud and then Black Cleaver because it procs on your Qs. It's rather annoying. But looks like it's just going to be a likely Gore Drinker coming in from Fake God. He's going to try and sustain himself up on the Aatrox. I will say I do prefer this build still, even if the Even Shroud's fun. You get to 2 items rather quickly.
Let's see a double Evan Shrouds in LPL. It's just so weird to me. It's an item that you see so lightly picked, and then you get 2 of them. You're like, interesting. But I know they did change some of the stats and stuff on the item itself. But I do want to check back in on this story that we've had through bot lane now specifically. Breezy and Lynx are actually finding a lot of pressure onto Meech, and I still do want to see some punishment given over the Zeri Yumi's way, because if you just let them stagnate, then it's perfectly fine for them. But I can appreciate this second game approach right now and the fact that they are feeling a little bit more confident to step up.
Oh, they have the prio lanes, and Lynx has proven that he can be in a Aphelios where when AOE had success last split, it was really Winnie enabling Lynx to do things later in the game, which was a formula that AOE were able to replicate. And I mean, Lynx was even drawing Callista bans with how good they were able to execute on that champion. So I think, you know, they have the draft where they can step up, and it's good to see him doing so, as AOE actually, surprisingly to me, have opted to fully drop the Rift Herald. A little bit scared of the strength of the Aatrox Sejuani. And it will be plates for Lynx instead, where he looks like he's going to clean up too. So that's not at all bad for the side of AOE, as props to Lynx for holding on to that white gun while this was going on, as looks like on this wave, Cannon Wave, they should be able to clean up 1 more plate, get Lynx 3 plates total so far, which would be great for the side of AOE.
And I love talking about Lynx a little bit, because I know we focus on all 3 other members of this lane, but I think we saw a real come up from Lynx last split, where it wasn't just the comfort picks, it wasn't just him leaning into things that we've known and seen from him, it was him trying to lean into a lot more of these meta deciding ADCs, the hyper carries.
And I think that AOE had their own unique take on the game, of course, with Winnie and Skytech, which Lynx played rather nicely into. And he was a marksman where in a very bot-centric meta, as he was on one of the provisional teams we had last split of Challengers, and he held his own and did more than that at times. So definitely was happy to see him back this split. We'll see if he can try and step up with that new support in Breezy.
Good old proxy farming. Fake God just being an absolute stinker in the top lane. We actually got Breezy on a bit of a roam towards mid, not going to find anything onto Young. And so far, so good for DSG and AOE. Nothing going to come too crazy here. I do, again, love that focus from Breezy to get out of lane and more plates going to Lynx.
A solo plate this time around, too. Not at all bad, as it's a 500 gold lead for AOE. I will say, given the drafts, I don't think that's enough. I like how Disguise has been able to slow down this game. I feel like Tomio's pathing has been good to make sure that it could get that first Rift Herald, but now also he's shifting towards the bot lane to make sure that these guys are being protected down here.
A nice little hover, though, as Rift Herald available for DSG. Maybe looking to give some love back to Meech and Zeyzal. I would like to see it go mid on the Young. I think that duo getting unlocked from mid lane will provide DSG with a lot of options moving forward. We do just need to hover to make sure that Meech and Zeyzal don't get punished down there. And we have another dragon spawning up pretty soon. I wonder if this is where DSG kind of put more priority into stopping the scaling objectives for AOE.
AOE's got to stack up these dragons, so I really want to see AOE try and push this, as Meech able to actually find a really nice trade on the Breezy. Will be spotted, sneaking in here as they kill the ward, and I think this should be uncontested over to AOE. As DSG, they're going to wait for the 3rd dragon to fight. Instead, use that Herald to get some plates over to Young. I think it's a smart play.
I got what I wanted. Let's go. You get a little bit of gold to the mid lane of the Ahri. I think it does unlock you a little bit more with this combo. You got Will, who was looking for some aggression. Goes with the cease and desist. Got the Glacial Prison beautifully used on Atomio so that from Tomio, so that Darkwaves can't join the fight. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was really well done from Tomio, as also the charm. It was eaten by Will, so each of our junglers showing some decent mechanics here, as they are able to actually prevent the turn. I mean, that's a dragon winning play for Tomio, and honestly, this gives Disguise another 5 minutes. That really hurts AOE here, Mazel. The fact that Tomio was able to deter that play, really good from Tomio again, where felt like last split on Cloud9 Challengers, like he was, considered a good jungler, but we still kind of saw some weaknesses from Tomio. I think he's really grown into be an even stronger player in this split. Of course, I thought he was the MVP of the finals itself, that Game 4 Gragas performance, where he pretty much just took over the game, made sure that series was never going to go to 5 against Dignitas. But Tomio, he's really picked up from that momentum he had in the back half of last split in the playoffs. He's playing great early.
Yeah, I still remember the days on Zenith when you saw this guy just playing extremely aggressive matchups and trying to hands check you in your own jungle. We felt like we kind of lost a little bit of that over the last year and a half of him. But this last split on Cloud9, this split on DSG, the combination of him and Zeyzal, it just feels like they've truly been able to unlock Tomio's potential. And it's something so beautiful, right? I know we've said it before, it's the Tomio that we were promised back in the day. And he has come down to bot lane to try to take down Lynx. As we do get that Flash Cleanse combo coming through, it's double flash from DSG, and they get first blood.
And Tomio is just running these rifts, man, as the early Sejuani pick now, he's waiting for the Q, maybe to find Darklings again. They want to try and get this wave in for Meech, but the amount of control that Tomio's been able to demonstrate in a game where they have to slow things down to give themselves a chance has really been phenomenal. As he determines to play mid, able to instantly come back, find a play bot. He doesn't even have that ultimate up, but he knows, like, hey, I got nothing else to do right now. Instead of basing after that dragon, I'm just gonna offer bot, see if they go for anything. Yeah. And Lynx and Breezy get caught out, and they are able to find gold at a point where their comp still shouldn't be finding that much gold. They are not stronger at the moment, but because Tomio makes a good play and AOE over-aggresses, not knowing he's behind them, they are able to come out with something positive.
As soon as Breezy hit that dredge line, that was the instant go button for DSG. And really, really heads up play from them to turn that around. You see the fluctuations in this gold graph right now, but it's really just AOE not finding maybe the answers they're looking for right now. We did get first items completed for a majority of members, so you got the Kraken Slayer, Trinity Force versus down here on the bottom side. But specifically, I'm looking at that Radiant Virtue completed first item for Tomio, and on the other side, you got Will having completed his first item, looking to punish Meech. Tomio's right back down here, going for the re-engage. Beautiful timing, but the tower has fallen. TP's coming out. We're getting a smorgasbord of action as Fake God has arrived with the World Ender. It's not going to work right now, though. Charm connects on the Darkwing. That's huge. Re-engage from Breezy, and a double kill for Will.
AOE fight when they're strong and find a play for themselves as they pick up 2, each going on to the jungler. As, some tools were burned from the side of DSG. I think importantly, though, Meech just never got that ultimate off. He was one-shot in. I don't even know if that Yuumi ult was available for Zeyzal until afterwards. As we take a second look. Yeah, Meech didn't have the ult for this fight. He just goes down immediately. TP's instantly brought out as AOE Darklings, he's first on the play. They take down the carry, and Meech and Darklings throws everyone into the wall. This is really well done from the mid laner of AOE. Might have been Will picking up the kills, but Darklings felt like the big difference maker to me as he was able to get involved immediately. It made a big difference.
And that spacing bought so much time from Concept. They all got piled in the corner. They all got separated. And that gives Will the decision-making power to get the execution on these crucial members. And that was one of the biggest things coming into the draft of game number 2 for AOE is they have that target selection if they get onto the right members. And that time they did, which leads to this Rift Herald, which leads to an over 2,000 gold lead for AOE.
They get the second Rift Herald now. You got to imagine that this dragon should be theirs coming up. As Disguise, they need to wait until Meech gets 2 or 3 items. And at the moment, AOE, they're the ones that are going to be controlling the map. As it's good play coming out from them. Able to, again, find a play in their spike.
I know we were talking about kind of Tomio's past, his glow up here as well from the times of Zenith Esports. But Will on the other side, man. Yes, he plays in summer, but man, every time he does, he makes a splash. And I know watching him on 100 Thieves, it was very interesting to see his influence on the way that they played the style of gameplay they did. And I think we still see iterations of that, but Will has been willing to kind of go into, yes, aggressive facilitators, but still facilitators in their own right.
Yeah, back then, it was like, hey, just let me slam Lee Sin and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And now it's the same thing with Vi, right?
maybe that has to do with the meta, but you know,
there's a bit more nuance with it.
The man pops up on the Kindreds in the Rex size. He just doesn't get wins. Okay?
Either way, he's making it work. As it's again really good to see Will in the league. Definitely a player that we've always thought was a stronger member of his role whenever he has been able to compete in these summers, and good to see him stepping up here as it gave AOE a much-needed gold lead at that point of the game. It was kind of setting things up like, hey, this guy's comp's about to take over. Things are getting a lot better for them. If you look at the map, and now AOE, they have a 2k gold lead and should be able to get out here and contest this next dragon. Now, Darkwings does have that empowered TP available on the top side. He's going to stick around for a bonus wave and actually take that turret before AOE, and that's enough for Disguise to actually start up this dragon. They're going to try and force Darkwings to TP down before he's able to get a base off. And AOE, they're actually just going to drop the dragon and say, hey, Ocean Soul's not that strong. We're going to take the gold. They throw down the Herald mid. Darkwings, he's rage splitting on the top side, and AOE's going to get quite a bit here.
They will. They break down the outer tower in mid lane. They're looking at a tier 2 now with another charge in both mid and top, as that's a ton of damage, and a tier 2 goes down.
Really good call from the side of AOE, as Darkwings is going to be able to maybe get that wave into the top side. Yeah, he does so successfully. Going to link up with his team. He shows again. And, I mean, look at everything that AOE just got done. They got 3 turrets off that play, and they extended their gold lead from 2k to almost 4k.
I really like that Luden's Echo pickup first item for Darkwings here. It just gives you that kind of poke and prod style from the Azir, and a decent amount of a damage pickup there. You see almost half health on that top tier 2 as well. We look at that gold difference. Lynx and Will sitting there at the top of the leaderboard, but it's good to see AOE coming back alive again after that game 1.
All eyes have to be on Lynx to see if he can continue to keep down Meech with these guns, as Aphelios continues to be just a very powerful marksman on this patch in meta Mazel. As something that Lynx piloted well last split. Good to see him back out of this.
How come everybody always complains about Zarya, but nobody complains that Aphelios has literally been like 90+% pick ban rate since like he came out in this game like 4 years ago now or whatever it is. I just love that Zarya gets all that hate, but that we've had Aphelios literally every game for the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Oh, he has a bunch of guns, so he's fine, right? We keep him in.
You know, he's not as mobile as Zarius, and doesn't go 1,000 miles an hour, so it's fine.
He just blows up your entire team with one ability, you know, with one Moonlight Vigil and an Inferno combo. No big deal.
That's definitely what Lynx is going to be looking to do, and has some nice things to combo off of. Is look at all the circles around him with Emperor's Divide. You have Vial, also, you know, Depth Charge. The Cask from Gragas could be huge. All this is just setting up for Lynx to try and find a big combo, especially if he wants to walk into these fights with purple and blue. I think for him, I want to see probably green-white or red-white be the best setups in these team fights, as DSG will be vulnerable to the poke from Aphelios, and also Aatrox Sejuani. They got to commit pretty hard, so I feel like those are the setups that Lynx is really going to be wanting to walk into fights with.
Yeah, and you see now AOE moving around with the combo that is set in stone for them in Will and Breezy, just roaming the map trying to find picks here within each other, and that will continuously be the avenue for AOE moving forward.
Yeah, I also want to see if Fake God can just take over on this Aatrox. I think it's the first Aatrox that we've seen so far in this split of Challengers. I know it's a historically good matchup into Gragas, and Fake God, one of his favorite champions. He wasn't able to get going in that first fight thanks to some nice control out of Darkwings and concept with the ultimates, but he has still farmed up a Storm in a matchup that is winning for him in the side lane, and Fake Out and 2 items Aatrox, I mean, could really take over.
So waiting for that Iron Spike to come through and that side lane to be an issue here. So you gotta hit those sweet spots. Okay. It's fine. Fine. You know, first Aatrox, you're getting used to it. But Concept also with the quick moves. But we got a lot of pressure on top side of the map here. A lot of bodies from AOE moving towards this tier 2.
They're trying to rotate up to support Young as Tomio. Okay, a little bit of cat and mouse. Cease and assist is not going to be used there, but that could be enough for Will to vault on over into
Lady
the Baron.
with fists and Poro. That just doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
There's a Poro?
Now look at that giant Poro right there with its tongue out. Oh. See? Like I guess is it called a Poro? Is it called something different? Porosaur. There you go.
Yeah, that's something like that. You know, the jungle's got to be all prehistoric and stuff, right?
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Now, Darkwing's going to put a little bit of defensive hold up here, but DSG, they were looking to punish him up here. It is just that vision game being played by both sides right now.
Credit to AOE though still. I think they put together a rather nice game. You can see them resetting though. Of course, that last dragon, they decided to drop it, and they picked up 3 turrets in return against Disguise, which is what got them this 4K gold lead. This one, though, I feel like they're going to want to contest this. They're still very strong on the team fight, and if I'm AoE, I'm looking to turn. Because if right now you have Vi on 2 items, Zeri isn't too big yet, Aphelios just got 2 items, that Gale Force, and he even has change as he's sprinting towards that LDR. This is a good fight to take for AoE. And these guys have to be really careful with how they manage this one. I want to see if they can try and use Ahri to find some poke, or maybe get around them to get a priority target to set up the follow-up with Aatrox.
I know we talked about it a decent amount earlier, though, but there is a difference in spikes now. Even though it feels like forever, it was 3 items for any hyper-scaling ADC. The new situation for Aphelios definitely turns on at those 2 items, like we mentioned. Yeah. So there is a bit of an item differential just in terms of power spiking. Meech, yes, on 2 items. The Runance makes team fights feel a little bit better, but this is still a big fight for AoE to have.
Also, thank God someone went Nashor's Tooth on Azir, man. I still favor the crowd. Oh, hold on.
We got the engage on Tobio. The final chapter coming across the back line. Breezy gets caught out. The big lightning crash from Meech. He goes into the cease and desist. The Will. That's a big cast and a huge execution from AoE. You hit the wombo combo, baby. And that's a big fight win. 1 for 3 for AoE gold.
I mean, Will went in deep, but the follow-up afterwards, once AoE was able to get in range, they played that so well as Meech wasn't able to vault over any walls. Instead, he's the one that gets Shurima shuffled, depth charged, everything. The kitchen sink thrown on the Zeri, who doesn't have that Titanic Hydra yet, so she falls. As it starts off, Breezy eats the Sejuani ultimate. It's a nice charm from Young to get a chunk. But then Will, he just goes in for the re-engage, says, hey, we landed purple ult on the Meech. We're able to follow up with a root. It comes in a sec after, it's the big pass from Concept into a 3-man depth charge. Everything connects.
And the Moonlight Vigil.
Oh my goodness gracious, AoE found the wombo.
Hey, we're dancing tonight for AoE right now. It is incredible to see it pulled off. We were asking for a bar of execution to be hit for AoE, and so far in that big first team fight, they got it. But it was the execution at the right time. That is something we've talked about a decent amount today, is timing for these teams in a developmental league. A lot of times it is behind the ball. They knew they had the power spikes. They knew they had the advantage, and they were able to execute it.
I love that you bring that up, Mazel, and also for AoE, they have to keep their foot on the gas, because look at the flashes being down for this guys. No flash on Meech, no flash on Young. I want to see AoE continue to walk in here. If flashes are down against Vi, Nautilus, Azir, that could be some free kills to get DSG to walk out at the wrong time. So see if AoE feel confident enough to actually start up a Baron here pretty soon.
Just gotta have the confidence to pull it and turn the fight
after this mid-wave, maybe they can think about it, but DSG were able to actually get in position to recover. So I think AoE, yeah, we'll see what they end up doing here, as at least going to be shoved. Lynx could rotate out to red-white really quickly here, and they can melt this Baron if they so choose.
They really could, but again, it comes with the confidence. You have to be willing to go ahead and pull that trigger, and right now, they want to pull the trigger on Tomio. That final chapter comes out, and DSG look like they want this fight. Tomio goes around the edge of the wall here. He's so tanky, but Meech lightning crashes over the edge while he watches his jungler go down again. They get the charm here onto Concept, though, caught out the side. Fake God going with the World Ender, has those wings pop, trying to get the resets here for himself. He is tanking up a storm, though, and they've overextended. The burn, the death stance ended your life there. And now, in finality, Baron for AoE.
Darkwing's TP's back because he lived at the start of that fight. I think Tomio was just too far ahead. He got a good start off to this fight. I mean, the Glacial Prison, it got the cleanse out of Lynx. He was able to find the stun on the Darkwings, but his team wasn't there to follow him up. He goes down before when Smite's removed. That's it.
You see, yeah, the wrap around Tobio just kind of walking away, and there's no way in for DSG. If they walk around the corner, they're just going to get engaged on, so they just have to watch. And yes, they get the catch on the other side, but it takes so long.
I mean, Meech couldn't hit there, as Tomio just too far forward. Got a lot done, and then I love the cast coming out of Concept again, as he's been able to really neutralize this matchup. As the green-red gun from Lynx, it finds him in the back half, and that's Baron that goes over to AoE. As they traded Zeri Yuumi for this Vi, Mazel. It hasn't been a trade that worked out in all of AOE's matches so far, but man, Will's making it work against one of the stronger teams that we have in the league. This would be a huge win for AOE, not just to take down the Skies, but also early season wins like this for some of our teams that we expect to be lower in the standings. It'll build up a lot of confidence in your roster moving forward, as a lot of these teams are trying to prove, in my opinion, that they can compete with the top of the table, which I still have as Disguised, FlyC, and TLC. Whoever can step up and break that top 3, we'll see. But at the moment, AOE, at least in this game, they're proving that they can give them a test.
What I love is that highlight on Will, but primarily the connection between him and Breezy in this second game. This Nautilus has helped to support Will, and that's what I was asking for coming to all the games for AOE. Support Will. He will literally carry you the games, and the fact that we finally get that composition that kind of enables that works so well. Breezy is at 100% KP right alongside Will, and the siege is going to continue here. Gotta be a little bit careful. The tower has already fallen, though. They are getting a decent chunk back, but the spacing was there from AOE, and they still have all of their ultis except for the Moonlight Vigil.
There was no flash on Meech for that fight. That was probably the last fight they could have taken where Meech doesn't have flash again. I actually would have really liked to see AOE push that one forward. I know it's diving, up the ramp, and DSG had a decent setup, but it's the last time you might be able to execute Meech for free, as that Titanic Hydra is coming in soon, and that's where things get a little bit harder. There is still a big gold lead for AOE at 8k, and the first inhibitor falling in their favor.
About to be maybe a second one, too. 40 seconds still on the Baron, and they are busting down the base. They've also caught up Big God! Big cast from Concept, who has been the secret agent at this point in the game, and AOE, in one fell swoop, have just burnt the DSG toast!
Oh, Meech wasn't able to use either Psalm. I guess you can wait for Flash to come back if that's going to be the case. And AOE, they're going to take this game too in clean fashion, Mizel.
Tick, tick, tick goes the toaster, and AOE will force a 1-1 against DSG. And we know how disheartening DSG is after that, but AOE come alive when it matters. And in game 2, they showed up in fashion. And it was all through that supportive style composition for Will that I absolutely love, Cubby.
100% KP from Will and the bot lane of AOE in that one, as they really were able to cash in later. It took a while for them to get going, but hey, that Aphelios, you can keep Zeri down with it. Not to mention Vi plus Nautilus, the point and clicks. And those wombos were huge from the side of AOE, as these guys just were not able to find the right angles to approach those fights. Ended up going down.
You look at that gold graph, ends up almost, I guess, 11,000 gold in the lead for the side of AOE, and it was just starting from the beginning and never leaving that. I love this return to the Azir for Dark Wings. We've seen the Azir on other teams. It did not look nearly this good. So being able to set the team up for success is so, so important for AOE, and I think we see a good definition of what they want to go for.
I mean, AOE, props to them. They were able to execute. I think that, again, Tomio did a nice job of slowing down that game pace, but once AOE got that one good fight where they connected with all their ultimates, they blew up the game from there. I also really want to credit them. Trading that dragon for the 3 turrets, I think, really opened things up for AOE to play around that Baron, actually create some of the later fights they were able to find. So that's a really clean game from AOE, and one they can build a lot of confidence off of moving forward.
Absolutely. We're going to send it to a little break while we do have our interview getting ready and raring to go with Sierra, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, technology is the worst. So we're bypassing our player interview for the day. And instead, I'll do the little mini interview and put Cubby on the spot, because you were very adamant going into this series. This was going to be 2-0 DSG. Like, you just said those 5 words, you were done with it. No explanation. And AOE kind of won that second game. Do you want to explain yourself a little bit?
They played with Prio. They had people first to fights, and they all pressed R at the same time. And this guy's melted. They got toasted.
Hey, that reminds me then, going back to this, I feel like maybe we should actually write a couple tweets, because, like, I don't know, I feel like this was kind of fitting going into this result.
It's perfect. I'm telling you, AOE should have used it. You should have tweeted it out before the game started.
It looks like they did. It got 23.4 million likes. That's pretty impressive.
My God.
Wow, that's good work,
How many times were you clicking right there?
Sierra can for sure manage social media account. She gets the perms. We do not. That's all fine and dandy. It's good.
Can you doctor some of my tweets?
Wasn't it one of y'all that wrote that? I just sat here and did the official work. I'm not gonna take as much as I'd like to take the credit.
I'll take the credit for the statement, but you are the social media guru, and that's how we have so many likes and interactions.
All right, so AOE, hire me and Mazel. You got us here. You know, the Frenchman and the Canadian. We got
It's
you.
gonna work so well. I can't wait.
So good, so good. Especially too, since there's still so much summer split. A lot of time for those social media posts and pulling up our standings. I mean, a lot of opportunities still for this to be switching around. Going into this, DSG winning that first game, still going to be able to hold on and be tied for that second place spot with Fly C after an insane match over on the LCS Challengers stream, I have to say.
1-1 for Fly C versus Taco. More of a surprise than a 1-1 for Disguise versus AOE, I must say, in this early season, but all I see there, Mazel, is more space created between Team Liquid Honda and the rest of the bunch.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of gap going on there, but I still like the Tevi contention for 2, 3, 4, all tied up at 6 and 4. So definitely TLC, the team to beat in the league, but we got some runners up.
Hey, and it keeps things exciting, right? Especially to when we're looking at Team Fish Taco, there's a couple struggles, and Fly C was one that we've talked about, great things about. So to see it go 1-1 in the series, it's cool.
How is Fear in 10th?
They could
one
win.
Of the best teams last split. And the changes, man.
They're playing up next.
Yeah, they still have 2 games to play, Mazel. They still have 2 games to play, all right? You see, they were 2 and something, and then the teams right above them have 3 wins.
They need to get a 2-0 over EGC. Is that going to happen? I don't know.
That definitely is, the matchup ahead of them. But hey, maybe if we see some of the old Cincinnati Fear, that could be super exciting stuff. But you guys know where we can find that match? We still have 1 to play left for the day.
I think it's something called twitch.tv.
It's not Challengers League.
LCS _ Challengers now. And I also heard if you subscribe, you get some really cool emotes, and 50% of the revenue goes to players and team. Oh my god, how have you not already subscribed? Make sure you do both, though.
And it's perfect. You sub here real quick, and then we're going to raid the LCS _ Challengers chat. So then you can just click it again. You already know where the button is, and then you can enjoy some fantastic league. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. So go have fun over there, guys. And make sure if you're talking about the match too, #NACL over on Twitter. We'll see you all in the Twitch chat, though, because there's going to be an awesome game over there. Cannot wait. Thanks so much for tuning in over here, and we'll see you soon.
It's going to be a banger.